And what had happened is that guy got really angry. So one night he did, in fact, show up and start shooting up the house. Hey there, I'm Emmanuel, and welcome to If I Can, You Can, where if I can do it, you can do it too. Go over real estate investing and home renovations. As always, if you like this content, please like and subscribe. But today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. Normally, I try to tell you a little bit about real estate investing and kind of what's going on, what to look at, how to move things. Today, I'm going to go into a little bit of stories. And I'm going to share a story with you that just happened at one of my rentals. In earlier videos, I told you about a renovation I did. And what the whole purpose was supposed to be was a BRRRR. I bought a property that was really run down, and then I went in there and I fixed it all up. And you know what? It looked amazing. And I couldn't wait to put a tenant in there and refinance. And that refinance didn't quite work out. So what I did is I had a tenant and I just kind of stuck with the first loan. Anyways, the first one I had, I like to be as passive as I can. It's just my strategy. So what I did is I hired a property manager and they did a great job of finding a good tenant. They didn't really call too much. They didn't do any maintenance or anything. And the little things I had, I could easily fix them. And right about the time that a year was coming up, we called them up and asked them, hey, do you want to renew? And sure enough, they said no, which is not what we were looking to hear. And I was just so curious why. And I talked to the property managers and can you ask them what's going on? Is there any way we can keep them? They've been really good tenants. And they're saying well, they didn't feel safe. Well, what are you talking about? What do you mean you didn't feel safe? Well, they said that they heard gunshots and they really didn't feel safe about it. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. This is not the type of neighborhood that has gunshots or anything. There's a school nearby, and there's a bunch of kids running around, and there's a park nearby. I'm going to guess that they heard fireworks, and you know what? That just was that. So fast forward to about 8 months later. I'm going through a nasty eviction. I'm trying to get this lady out, and it comes to the day that I actually have to be there with the marshal and evict this lady from the property. I'm there. All the neighbors come out, and it's a whole show and everything, and I'm talking with some of the neighbors. Some of them were cussing me, and some of them were just standing there gawking and trying to get to the latest scoop of what's going on with the gossip in the neighborhood. And then I seen this one guy. He stands up. I don't know who he is, and it turns out I was talking to him. He was one of the neighbors. I'm like, oh, when'd you move in here? And sure enough, there was a house right next to our house. And this was a little bit of a problem house. Beforehand, when I was doing the renovations, there was a couple of dogs in the back that were chained up on the metal wire and everything. It was just really nasty. They weren't very well taken care of or fed, and we tried to feed them. And then I tried to call, animal protective services for them, and it was a whole mess. And thankfully, somebody took care of those dogs, and they were out of there. And all I ever noticed was that the dogs were gone. And I was really curious, oh, you bought this house next door? It's like, yeah, I did. And I'm like, oh, well, this must have been recent. Like, oh, yeah. And what he's telling me all about it. It's like, well, what ended up happening is the people that were previously here, what they did is they had borrowed money from this guy, essentially a loan shark. And they had failed to pay said guy. And what had happened is that guy got really angry. So one night he did, in fact, show up and start shooting up the house. Not my house, the house next door. And so here I am, 8 months later, still racking my head. Why do I have this nightmare tenant? And why couldn't I keep these other tenants? And it turns out that the crappy neighbors next door, the only crappy neighbors next door, got in a shootout with the loan shark. And that is why my tenants did not renew. Has it happened anytime since then? No, because they promptly left and they didn't want the loan shark knowing where they lived. But now I had a new neighbor, actually took care of the property, didn't have any animals that were being abused or anything. And now I'm going through a nasty eviction, and hopefully I can get a new tenant in there that isn't going to do the same thing. And hopefully they're a great tenant this time around. But it goes to show you, you got to be very careful of the neighbors. It can take one bad neighbor to really wreck your day and it caused problems with your tenants. That's all I got for right now. Now, if you have any questions or if you like this content, please like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. I want to hear what you guys have to say. But that's all I have for right now. I'll see you in the next one.